This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and welcome to the August 21st, 2024 South Whitehall Township Board of Commissioners meeting. We'll call this meeting to order. We do have all commissioners present this evening. At this time, I would ask you to all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to announce that all public sessions of the South Whitehall Township Board of Commissioners are electronically recorded, filed, and posted to the Township website for public access. This time, I would ask our Township Manager, Tom Petrucci, to please review our public virtual meeting rules.
Thank you. The public virtual meeting rules are as follows. Courtesy of the floor for non-agenda items will be at the beginning and end of the agenda. Public comment will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. For all listed agenda items, the board president will call for courtesy of the floor prior to the Board of Commissioners taking action on that specific agenda item. For in-person attendees, please raise your hand to be recognized, then move to the podium when directed. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record and may then proceed with asking your question. For those participating virtually, please mute your microphone or telephone to avoid any background noise that may cause interference during the meeting. The chat box feature will be active throughout the meeting. If you have a comment or question, please type your full name and address into the chat box. The staff member monitoring GoToMeeting will then unmute your microphone and you will have the opportunity to comment or ask a question. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. I'd also like to announce that the Board of Commissioners met in executive session prior to tonight's meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters. Moving on to agenda item 4, courtesy of the floor. This is opportunity for any member of the public to comment on any non-agenda items. Is there anyone present this evening who'd like to address the board? Is there anyone online? Hearing and seeing none, I will move on to agenda item 5. Meeting minutes from the August 7th, 2024 Board of Commissioners meeting have been distributed to the board for your review. Are there any comments or questions? I need a motion to approve.
So,
Second.
Motion, a second, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item 6, we have a presentation this evening. I'd like to call Barry Eigen, firefighter, up to please represent your fire company this evening. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's truly an honor tonight to celebrate Citronea Fire Department's 100th anniversary. It's a great milestone for you and for all your past members and current members. Our community is very grateful to all of you who selflessly volunteer your time and talents to respond to the call to our residents and businesses in their time of need, day and night. I often drive by Citronea Fire Company. Your bay doors are always open, welcoming anyone in the community to stop in and visit. And you're always at all of our events with your volunteers, and we're very grateful for all that your members do to contribute to the wonderful fabric which makes South Whitehall an amazing place to live and work. I have a proclamation that I would like to read and then present to you from the full board. The South Whitehall Township Board of Commissioners would like to take this time to celebrate with Citronea Fire Department this centennial celebration, an incredible milestone of 100 years of service to the residents and businesses of South Whitehall Township. You are truly a valued and integral part of the community. We thank every member of Citronea Fire Department, both past and present, for your dedication and unwavering commitment to keeping South Whitehall's citizenry safe. And we honor you, the men and women of Citronea Fire Department, for all you do. Congratulations and happy 100th anniversary.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry? Okay, cool.
Excuse me, just move this. Close. What? I had it all under control. Jacob, would you mind? Sure. No.
Go to the other side.
Just the podiums. My last set of photos was petite. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you.
You absolutely may.
It was January 22nd, 1924, when 24 interested persons met for the purposes of establishing a fire department. And although I'm the oldest and longest standing active member at Citronia, I wasn't around then. But if I was, I would thank them, because if it wasn't for them, Citronia Fire Department might not be what it is today. And of course, I would thank all of our members who tirelessly put forth staffing and training for the sole purpose of saving lives and protecting property. And finally, I would thank the commissioners and the entire team at South Whitehall Township for supporting us both financially and beyond, because we couldn't do what we do without everyone's help. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. We have no ordinances this evening. Agenda item 8, resolutions. We have a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Township of South Whitehall, Lehigh County, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, approving a right of entry access to department property agreement between South Whitehall Township and the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for the stormwater basin located at State Route 22 and State Route 1019 interchange. And Tom, if you would please present.
Thank you. It was recently determined that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, PennDOT, owns the stormwater basin located at SR 22 and SR 1019 at the interchange location. South Whitehall Township has maintained the basin for the last 40 plus years and was proceeding with a plan to improve the stormwater basin in accordance with the township's approved pollutant reduction plan for the township's MS4 permit. Plan modifications to the basin included the installation of earthen berms and gabion basket spillways to reduce the sedimentation as required by the township's MS4 permit. While these modifications were not completed, we did start them. So whatever we started, PennDOT is asking them to be removed at this time. In order to access the basin to conduct the work, PennDOT requires a right of entry access to department property agreement to be executed by the township. The enclosed resolution has been prepared to allow the township manager to execute the required form. Additionally, a grading utility restoration plan is provided for reference and incorporated into the resolution. We are now required to also provide a plan to PennDOT to show how we're going to remove the work and restore it to its previous condition, and then also provide an as-built plan when the work is done. So I would ask a motion to put that into effect by a resolution.
Thank you, Tom. Does the board have any comments or questions on this resolution? Is there any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, do I have a motion to approve said resolution?
Motion.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Then item 9A, we have a motion to approve animal control services contract with Lehigh Valley Humane Society from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2027. And Tom, if you would present.
Thank you. South Whitehall Township began an agreement with the Lehigh Valley Humane Society earlier this year for stray animal services. The program has proven to be a positive experience, and the entity has demonstrated their commitment to providing a valuable service to the township. To date, the Humane Society has taken in 9 stray or owner surrendered dogs and 14 stray or owner surrendered cats. The Humane Society has also completed trap, neuter, and release services on 12 cats at no charge to the township. The Humane Society would like the township to enter into a 3-year agreement for stray services beginning in 25 and continuing through 2027. The Humane Society is holding their current rate of $4,000 for 2025, but the rate will increase by 3.5% in subsequent years. We are requesting the board's permission to approve a 3-year agreement with the Humane Society. We strongly recommend this action as there are not many alternatives in this area. So we would recommend that we secure the services for this duration.
Very good. Thank you, Tom. Are there any comments from the board?
I do have a question for you. I'm looking at number 3B, where it says owner surrender requests for dogs and cats are taken as space allows. Have we ever been turned away due to lack of space?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Steve, can you please confirm?
Okay, also,
No, we have not.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just asked Interim Chief Brown to confirm, and he confirmed we've not had to do that.
Okay, good. Also, is this information on our website at all for our residents? Because it doesn't include wildlife. And is there anything that would help residents deal with wildlife if they have a situation?
Yes, I believe we have something on our website about the appropriate agencies to contact for wildlife, but I'll confirm. Mostly it's the Game Commission,
Okay.
but I'll make sure of that.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? Any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, do I have a motion to approve said motion?
So, second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item 9B, we have a motion authorizing township manager and township engineer to submit a highway occupancy permit HOP application to PennDOT for the Arley Grant funded State Route 222 Hamilton Boulevard, Lincoln Avenue intersection traffic signal improvements project. And Tom, if you would present again.
Thank you. So as the board will recall, the township had previously received an automated red light enforcement grant for the intersection of Hamilton Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue in the amount of $554,855.31 to upgrade and modernize the signalized intersection. So the grant funded the portion of the project associated with the construction costs. The township is responsible for the associated engineering costs as well as for securing all required environmental and permitting clearances. The first step of which would be to obtain a PennDOT highway occupancy permit. So in order to remain on schedule with the intent to bid out this project next year, it is necessary to begin the permitting process for the required highway occupancy permit now in order to ensure that the HOP is issued early next year. Following the receipt of the approved highway occupancy permit, the township will then need to review the final intersection design with PennDOT and bid out the project. Following PennDOT's approval of the specifications, we need to make sure we adhere to all the grant provisions. So the HOP, as drafted by the township engineer, is enclosed. It was provided in the meeting packet, and we are asking for permission to submit the permit to PennDOT.
Thank you, Tom. Are there any comments from the board? Any public comment? Do I have a motion to approve said motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item 9C, we have a motion to proceed with purchase of police department tactical breaching tools. I'll ask our interim chief Brown to please present.
Yes, the police department is requesting to upgrade and purchase mechanical breaching tools for the vehicles in our fleet. These tools are utilized when exigent circumstances exist, such as an active shooter or threat incident, and entry needs to be made efficiently and effectively. As of now, not all of our vehicles are equipped with these tools, and the ones that have them need to be upgraded. We went over to Whitehall Fire Company. Chief Search was there. He actually went over some breaching training with them at the fire department, and the group of officers that were there learned what tools would be the best in implementing this. Those are what we are looking to purchase. All these items are co-stars under contract 012E22281. We're looking to get this money from the ARPA. So during the course of the 2024 budget adoption, the Board of Commissioners previously approved an interfund transfer in the amount of $673,606.27 out of the American Rescue Plan Act fund to the Capital Reserve Fund to support the anticipated cost of new body-worn cameras and in-car system, a project which has resulted in a lower budgeted amount. The township is not exceeding the total line amount budgeted. The existing budgeted capital reserve funds are being shifted, would be shifted as below. We'd take from the body-worn and in-car camera systems and deduct $8,542.20, and we'd move that into the small tools minor equipment line. The township must encumber all the remaining ARPA funds by the end of 2024 fiscal year, specifically by December 31st, 2024. We are requesting the Board of Commissioners approve the purchase of these tools. The total cost of $8,542.20 would be encumbered as part of the ARPA funds that were designated to the police department.
Very good, thank you. Are there any comments or questions from the board?
No, there's a fire company has a door simulator that we use for breaching doors, so they could get them in practice.
Mhm. Yes, we're going to plan on, once we get the tools,
Yeah.
get training on it.
Very nice. Excellent. Any other comments from the board? Any public comment? Do I have a motion to approve said motion?
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Then item 9D, motion to proceed with capital purchases regarding the Senator Nick Miller, Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Grant, AKA Marketing to Attract Tourists Grant for the South Whitehall Township Police Department. And Interim Chief Brown, if you'd present again, please.
Yes, the police department applied for a grant through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Marketing for a patrol vehicle and e-bikes to be used by officers on patrol. The grant was approved for up to $100,000 and does not require a match for funding. But we researched the vehicles and e-bikes to use for these funds as we presented previously to the Board of Commissioners. In addition to its small cockpit size, we have a history of growing maintenance records with our fleet, our Ford fleet. Also, Ford does not have any more 2024 models available for this year, delaying delivery until 2025 when its next model is produced. The dealership we ordered from this year's vehicles still has 2024 Chevy Tahoes available on their lot. We are requesting the Board of Commissioners to approve the purchase of a marked 2024 Chevrolet Tahoe PPV under CoStar's contract with upfitting equipment and computer for a total cost of $82,556.78. Patrol vehicle will be used as a frontline vehicle and would be in addition to the 3 that the Board of Commissioners approved earlier this year. As a result, another aging fleet vehicle will be taken out of service due to excessive mileage and safety concerns. The vehicle will be decommissioned and potentially sold at auction. We are also requesting to purchase 6 Giant Talon E+3 29er bicycles and associated equipment for $17,240.64. These will be ordered in 3 different frame sizes to accommodate the various heights of officers. Quotes were obtained from 3 different vendors of e-bikes, and this was the lowest cost. The total cost of the fully outfitted 2024 Chevy Tahoe and 6 e-bikes with accessories came to $99,977.42. This DCED grant is advanced funding, so we just have to tell them what we're ordering and they will give us the money.
Very good, thank you. We're very appreciative to Senator Nick Miller for assisting the township with this grant as well. Board have any questions on this agenda item?
I have a quick question. Where will the e-bikes be used primarily? Or is it parks, patrol?
Typically our officers patrol through neighborhoods, shopping centers. The parks are a major one too, but they literally ride pretty much everywhere. They stay off of the main roads like Cedar Crest, all that stuff, but it's more efficient to be in a neighborhood with them.
Thank you.
Not inside the park, no. If we need to, we've used them on Lincoln Avenue or Hamilton already for fireworks.
I have one more question. What is the time frame by the time that you order the bikes till the time you get?
They have to order them, but they're not as backed up as Trek, so it could be like a month or 2, as my understanding.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Any public comment? Do I have a motion to approve said motion?
So moved.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Then item 9E, we have a motion to send South Whitehall Landscapes Plan to the South Whitehall Township Environmental Advisory Council. I'll ask our Director of Community Development, Dave Manhart, to present.
Yes, so this is we're requesting a motion to send the landscapes plan to the EAC. We wrapped up our public comment period. Chris has been handling comments, and most of the comments have been minor, some minor tweaks to graphics. We're changing some of the case studies to be more local. There was a comment we received through the website to include Crooked Row Farm as one of the case studies. So we're working on that. Other than that, again, the comments have been pretty minor. It's been well received. There was an article in the Lehigh Valley News about the LVPC's review. So it's being well received, and we're looking forward to moving it through the process.
Very good. Thank you, Dave. Board have any comments or questions on this agenda item?
My only comment was I did read the article yesterday in Lehigh Valley News, and great work your part and Chris.
Thank you.
It's definitely, it's obvious that your work and this plan will be a good example for other municipalities within the LVPC moving forward. So it was a good article. It was.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? Any public comment? Do I have a motion to approve said motion?
Motion.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Then item 10, correspondence, information, boards and commissions. Tom, if you would please present.
Yes, so upcoming meetings and events, all details are posted on the township website. Monday, August 26, 5:30 p.m., Landscape and Shade Tree Commission meeting. Monday, August 26, 6 p.m., Environmental Advisory Council meeting. Wednesday, August 28th, 7 p.m. is the Zoning Hearing Board meeting. Monday, September 2nd, Labor Day holiday, the offices are closed here at the municipal building. And Wednesday, September 4th, 7 p.m., we have a Board of Commissioners meeting.
Thank you. Agenda item 11, direction discussion. We have review of proposed South Whitehall Township donations to nonprofit organizations policy. And Tom, if you would present.
Thank you. So South Whitehall Township often receives donation requests from nonprofit organizations. These requests are reviewed annually for possible inclusion into the approved operating budget of the township. Township officials have determined a need to develop a consistent and equitable process by which to view these donations to assure that appropriated funds, as applicable, are utilized in a manner that directly benefits residents. In order to achieve that goal, it is recommended that the Finance Committee of South Whitehall Township be empowered to review the submitted materials and criteria, which any applicant would have to submit in the form of an application as part of any donation request. So that would include 2 years of profit and loss statements, current fiscal year operating budget, Form 990 for the return of organization exempt from income tax. A statement would need to be provided on how the funds donated to the township would be specifically utilized. Also to provide the mission statement, and as well as a breakdown of township resident membership participation for any relevant programs, initiatives, or activities. And finally, a statement on how the requested funds would specifically benefit township residents. So some of the key provisions of the policy as drafted would be to confirm that if an incomplete application is received, the request would be denied, and township personnel would only review items that are administratively complete. The donation request should not support any direct administrative personnel costs and shall be used to benefit programs, initiatives, and activities in alignment with the mission statement of the nonprofit organization. Township would accept donation requests on a rolling basis, but requests must be received no later than September 30th of the preceding fiscal year in which the donation request would be included. For example, a donation request to be considered for approval in the 2025 approved operating budget would be received no later than September 30th of this year in order to be considered for the 2025 budget cycle. Those requests that are determined to be administratively complete would be considered in the order they are received. Each nonprofit organization that would successfully receive an approved appropriation of funds for the township would receive a specific lump sum amount as recommended by the Finance Committee and approved by the Board of Commissioners in its sole discretion. The Finance Committee may recommend that the Board of Commissioners establish fiscal limits on the approved donation amount that is available to each nonprofit organization for each fiscal year. Once all appropriated funds have been exhausted within an approved operating budget, no further donation requests will be accepted by the township for that fiscal year approved operating budget. Nonprofit organizations would then submit donation requests for consideration of approval and inclusion into the next operating budget cycle. So for this evening, it's under the agenda items listed under direction discussion. So specifically looking for direction on the following: whether or not the Board of Commissioners is in agreement with the policy as currently drafted. If it is, if the board is inclined to move forward with it, it would go on the September 4th Board of Commissioners meeting agenda for the consideration of adoption via resolution. And secondly, whether the board is inclined to apply the policy to previous donation requests submitted for the 2024 fiscal year, as well as going forward for 25 requests. So in other words, the Finance Committee within the next month or so would review two sets of donation requests, one for 24 and one for 25. Or would you like to just focus on 25? I'm specifically asking for direction on that.
Very good. Tom, thank you. Thank you for drafting this policy. I know every year at budget time, it's there has been no clear direction to the board when we need to consider donation requests that the township receives. And I think that this policy is very well constructed and will provide the guidance that I know that this board has looked for in prior budget cycles. I am certainly in favor of proceeding with this policy to the next BOC meeting for consideration. And I do agree that we should consider any requests from the 2024 budget to comply with these criteria. I think that it would provide a much clearer, streamlined process so that we're fair to anyone who has made a request to the township. So thank you.
Yeah, Tom, I think it's wonderful. The only concern I have with the 2024 is because we're requiring them to do some administrative work and they didn't really have any time, maybe rush through some of these. You know, I think for the seniors may not have the administrative support, so to speak, to meet all those criteria. It would be helpful if they could, but I would be more lenient for the 2024 if we haven't given out the money yet to waive on some of those. We'd definitely like to hear a mission statement and what the money is going to be used for. But if they can't get their tax stuff together, profit loss statements and all that, for 2024, I would be okay with that. But definitely in 2025, they'll have enough time, you know, I think, to get it together. Because we're going to be issuing the money shortly, I would think, right? For 2024?
Yeah, typically we do it around this time period. I mean, we could do it as late as December, as long as the funds are encumbered this fiscal year. So there's no hard, fast limit on that. Typically we do it around August or September, though.
And when would the Finance Committee meet if we were to comply with this end of September deadline? Is it early October?
October 2nd.
So the timing of this could fall very nicely in line with the Finance Committee meeting to discuss and review the documents.
It could, yes.
I'll just add, I'm in favor of moving forward with this. I'm a member of the Finance Committee. I think this would be a great project for us to work on, get into, and review. I agree with Chris. I think we went through donations in our 2024 budget discussions last year. We might have received more requests this year, but I think for the sake of the Finance Committee, wait until next year. Get give everybody a fair shot at applying. That might take some time to put these documents together, but for the 2 points where you're asking for direction, Tom, yes, I'm fine with moving forward with this, and I think we should start next year. Just stick to the current way we go about processing donation requests and incorporating them in our budget, for 2024.
So I'd still like to hear their mission statement. Just, I mean, we already approved the money, but I'd still like to hear it.
Well, we
To
could
be
certainly
clear,
ask for this information, and if
How
they're
are they
not
get-
able to have all of it submitted, the Finance Committee has the option of reviewing what we do have on file and making determinations based on what we have.
Yeah, and I just want to be clear, though, for 25, if we effectuate this in the beginning of September, the policy right now would still require the same information for 25 no later than September 30th. So if we're saying you're going to be lenient for 24, you probably need to be lenient for the first round as well. And we try to get as much as we can because of the narrow time frame, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think based on that, I think we should focus on planning for the 2025 budget and not worry about the 2024 budget, since we're already, focus on getting those applications in by September 30th for next year, not worrying about looking back. It would just be easier from an administrative standpoint, I'm sure.
But they're going to have to do the same amount of work for both, essentially acquire the same materials. So we could try to get as much as we can, if that makes
If we adopt
sense.
this on September 4th, they have almost the full month of September to get documents to us.
How are they going to know about this? Do we notify them?
Yeah, the ones that have submitted requests in the past, we're going to notify them and then we'll put it on the website as well.
Okay. I agree with Jacob and Chris, let's just focus on this year.
So I agree with going forward. I think it's a solid policy. It's something that we definitely needed. I think it's important that we show how it benefits our residents and how many residents are involved. So I think that's all very positive. I'm thinking differently with when we enact this. They do have till the end of September, and any of these organizations, they should be well structured enough and reputable enough to provide as much as possible. I would say that maybe we're a little more lenient, but we do get as much information as we possibly can from them, and they should have it. It just might be a little tighter for them, but no reason that we can't start it as quickly as possible. I also wanted to ask you, do we have a fair amount of requests so far?
I think we had 3 this year, but they totaled 21,000. It was included in the budget.
Right. My comment.
We
Thank
had
you.
3 requests for 2024? Or for
I believe so off the
2025?
top of my head, yeah.
But they didn't total 21,000 for 2024. It didn't total $21,000 in requests.
It did total 20. It was included in the budget as 21,000.
How did we determine what we're giving them?
I think in the past because we haven't undertaken this type of process, it's basically what was requested.
Right.
And I think that's where we identify that we really need to vet these requests to ensure that the amount is consummate with the level of services and that South Whitehall residents are directly impacted in a positive manner.
That's something the Finance Committee can take a look at too, is figuring out how we want to review them before we make a recommendation in our
Absolutely.
budget.
Absolutely.
Very good. Any further comments from the board? Very good. Agenda item 12, old business. We have none. 13 is courtesy of the floor. Anyone online or here? Any comments for the board? Agenda item 14, I need a motion to authorize payment of invoices and disbursements.
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have no executive session to schedule. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.